that's a great thing to do. I feel like everybody should
That's what I
do that.
started doing. I don't even know. I think I might have been listening to Randy Leisure or something I seen, and I just started doing it.
Yeah,
Or you know what when I did that with the Bitcoin, that's what I was like. You know what? Because I think a lot of people think that. A lot of people think like when they say a share is this much money or whatever, they think they need to have whatever that amount is to get, and that's not what it is.
That's the beautiful part about crypto.
Yeah.
That's why I love crypto. That's another reason I love crypto.
Yeah.
It's easier to get into. It's more accessible to everybody. It's
You like where that thing smell, don't you? You gonna have a good show.
Enjoy yourself.
You gonna have a good show there. My brother-in-law here got me some. I got the brown gel at the house.
Brown are good.
Yeah, I like brown gel.
What I don't like, I don't like the one that comes in a black smoky bottle. It's real smoky. Even the taste of it is like like my mother like it. What I don't like, I don't like the one that comes in a black smoky bottle. It's real smoky.
You listening to Silk Sonic? Who? Silk Sonic? The girl Miles?
Nope, I haven't heard
You ain't
yet.
listening to that?
Nope, not yet. I haven't. I haven't
It
listened
make
to
you feel like having smoke, whatever it is, some kind of smoke.
Yeah.
And some brown liquor.
Okay.
That's how I make it feel.
Hey, Jay was telling me I ain't heard it yet because I ain't had the car yet.
I hate that it's 9 tracks. It's only 9 tracks though.
I know.
Sounds sweet.
Oh, I just want to off of that move.
See? That's what I'm saying. That's what I need, Joe.
Where we headed for?
I'm looking for.
I want to be like you. I want to be like my little brother. My brother said, yeah, my account $50,000. You know what I'm saying? I only trade twice a week. I make $5,000. I need that.
Hey, listen, just tap in, bro. Just tap in.
I need to tap. I'm trying. Cause look, Kim, I like when she say stuff to me that I be thinking about, but I ain't had a chance to talk to her about it yet. That let me know that she do be thinking about stuff that I don't think she thinking about. I don't know what the hell was talking about. She just came to me and was like,
So that only should be for
baby, you know, I want you to get back into, you know, doing the trading stuff with Tim. She was like, once we roll through, we roll through the holiday, we get that done with. Like, we gonna make sure that you're, you know, I was like,
all right, so after this,
what are you thinking over there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She was like, you know, I ain't gonna try to figure that shit out, but I know you want to do it. I was like, okay, I'm glad your mind is working.
We'll be ready whenever y'all ready. We can go from there.
Yeah, it's almost 12 o'clock.
Sorry about that, my brother. Let's keep that open.
Y'all got some ginger ale or something?
I wish.
No sodas, no nothing, no chicken.
You got that water.
You ain't had it there, Frank.
We ain't got no mic show, we just.
Drop my chop.
Why them joints?
Hey man, you know this was my summertime fix right here.
Man, I like them.
Stop creasing it. You know, man.
Yeah, you got your ass in the camera.
Well, that's why it's not supposed to be live right now, and I hope that it wasn't.
It's on the unjoint.
Look. Watch this shit.
Oh man.
Then I'm gonna lift my goddamn feet up. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh my
So
god.
bad. So many ways.
The root cause.
We had one shot one time. It wasn't but a joint pointing straight balls. You remember that joint?
Oh man.
Y'all ready?
If you can hit record on the roadcaster, my brother.
Oh, I got all that.
Oh, he got all that.
Go ahead, sit down and get.
You busy, ready?
I don't even know if we want that.
Just speak up.
Cool. Yeah.
You good. You get animated anyway.
Yeah.
That was loud.
That was real loud. That was real loud.
Don't smack my hand. You do it too loud.
All right. Bluetooth is up. That don't need to be up.
Oh, we in the place, family. There we go.
Y'all play y'all sound good thing. intro music and all that stuff?
We normally do. But I think today he just coming into his song.
Oh, I thought we was, whatever. It don't matter how we do it. I don't care.
Yeah,
I just put the music on.
we can simplify it. Just come on into.
I can do it now? We going?
Love me. I used to wake up some days and wish I stayed asleep. Cause I went to bed on top of the world. Today the world's on top of me. Now everybody's got opinions. They ain't been in my position. That it breaks my heart when I hear what they have to say about me.
What they say about you. Might not always fall short of being worthy.
Lord, I ain't worthy.
Cause I ain't good enough, but he still loves me. I ain't no superstar, spotlight ain't shining on me.
I wanna be for you.
Cause I ain't good enough, but he still loves me. I'm not perfect.
Not perfect.
Yes, I do wrong.
Yes, I do.
I'm trying my best.
Yeah. What's happening, people? What's happening? What's good? We in the building today. I wanted to start the people on something different. I told you I've been in that vibe all week, but that's because of the conversation we had. You know what I'm saying? Just talking about getting back connected with God and that oneness and things like that. So, and then I started listening to the series. What is it?
Crazy of
The
Faith.
Crazy of Faith, now, and I didn't even know he put a book out for it. Pastor Michael Todd, he doing a series right now, Crazy of Faith, and he gonna run it all the way up until Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Right now, this week will be part 9, I think.
Yep.
Part 9. I started from the beginning. I'm on 3, so I'm just going through, and it's fire on this thing.
Fire.
Like, I'm trying to tell you, like the next level that this will take your faith, your walk, how you moving, the things you want to invest in, what you want to do, like it's all in there, and it'll put you in the right space, period. And if you just want, it's just for you. If you just want to be in there for you, then hey, it's there. Like that John lit. It's definitely, which I know a lot of people always put a focus on him because he was always talking about relationships and that type of stuff. But this one, he went a whole nother direction.
Yeah,
This good stuff. But
And who was this again?
Pastor Michael Todd.
Michael Todd.
Yeah.
My man said, I'm tired of the church being the one that need the handouts.
yeah,
How you you serve the creator of the universe and you the one that always need a handout.
Yeah.
It's because we don't work the principles that he told us. It's right there in the book.
The church always need the handout.
Yeah, we always need the handout. Everybody broke, everybody feel like we gotta struggle. Nah, like God ain't intend us to struggle. We gotta struggle for what we want, but we're not supposed to struggle.
Just be
life.
in struggle.
Yeah,
Like,
he
that ain't the story.
He gave you principles. He gave us all principles to like really go by. Like all these self-help books, like Think and Grow Rich. Oh, ain't nothing but Proverbs, Kings.
This is very true.
That's all that is.
That's
That's all
very
it is.
true.
Yep.
Very
Yep.
true.
So I just like the fact that my man, Pastor Michael Todd, he literally going in there and he doing it from a biblical standpoint. Like he don't even mention none of them self-help books, and that's what I like about it. He literally showing you like what God told you to do, who God is.
He walking like real time stuff that they dealing with, paying off, paying for, all kind of stuff right now. Like it's and you can see it, and if you think about what you doing and the way you moving and stuff that you trying to get into, if you're the type of person that's always looking for, like, you trying to figure out which way you put direction you want to go in, where you want to put your money into, or just investing in yourself or whatever. Like you can see it as he's preaching the different messages that he giving, and he's starting right there from them. Like the one that stuck with investment, we say you should start in your head and go to your heart and then to your hands. You know what I'm saying? It's here because your imagination, your thoughts, your visions and everything, then it go down in your heart. It's instilled in you. Get down into you, and then in your hands, that's the production of it. It said our job is to believe in God. God's job is for the production of it, to produce.
So he's talking about the workflow of manifestation.
Yeah, all that.
Pretty
Man.
much,
That's
exactly.
financial.
So,
Yeah.
but also what I'm hearing is that the streets been saying that for a minute. Like, how y'all niggas in church broke?
Right.
How y'all always struggling, but y'all talking about this God that y'all serve and all this. So yeah, I've heard that for a very long time. I was just on the other side of the table with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand faith.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I understand the manifestation part of it, but I get it though.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear a pastor talking.
Yeah,
A teacher,
Yeah.
a teacher of biblical studies say exactly what the people been saying.
And you know what's crazy is that TD Jakes, he's on this real heavy right now too. I was just watching a joint called Building for Expansion. He was talking about building for expansion, and he went and it's funny because and it's another guy named Pastor Toy Roberts. All three of them, all three of them. I've been listening to them, and it seemed like they all on the same thing. Everybody's. I always look at that as like a confirmation piece. Yeah.
And how the Spirit of God, even though it's different pieces of it, and that's biblical too. That we all different limbs and things like that, different parts and all that. But when it's all in oneness with God, and in the direction of what God was happening, you'll see that. If you listen, it's a lot of pastors at the same time preaching like the same thing, right even down to your pastor.
Yeah.
That it be right there in the line with what's happening and what's going on and what's being taught right now.
And so, do pastors even preach hell? Because when we were kids, pastors preached hell, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
I don't hear pastors preach hell anymore.
Yeah, because you know what I'm saying. The issue, I believe that the issue with that was the fact that preaching hell. First off, it said that you can't send nobody to hell, right? Because that's what from us getting taught that you was gonna. If you did this, you were going to hell. If you do this, you going to hell. This is abomination, all this, all that. That's not really, you kind of going against the word of God. You know what I'm saying? One, you trying to condemn somebody, you have no right to do so. And then two, the best thing, the thing that you're supposed to use is love. You're supposed to love your neighbor. I don't care who it is. It's funny because Pastor Michael Todd, again, he was like, he was talking about the LGBTQ community. And he said, how do you think people would look at us if we actually went instead of condemning the people that you don't even know, hating the people that you don't even know, if you went out to that pride walk and you just started passing out water, imagine how differently people would look at you. Cause you
just start passing out water.
Just passing out water at one of them little if we went out as a church and instead of like condemning them people from afar, we have no clue who they are or what they are. We have no way to get like what Jesus did. Jesus wasn't with the high and holy rollers.
No.
He was with the people that was in the shit.
But that's also why he was condemned too. They condemned him for hanging out with them kind of people.
Exactly.
Or being supportive.
So
he was trying to gain an understanding of, okay.
Exactly. Okay. And that's what you got, and that's the part, that's what being Christ-like, that's what being Christian is. You're supposed to do that. You're not supposed to sit up high and then look low. Nah, you're supposed to be in the trenches with the people. You're supposed to be in the trenches with the rest of the world so that you can get an understanding with them, show them the love show them the love of Christ for real. You know what I'm saying? Because once you're showing them love, then they'll see. Then that's gonna open up the door for them to ask more about you, to be more inquisitive about you, and then you can tell them what it is. And then from how you move, they're gonna see. That's what it means by seeing God through you. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna see how you move, and they're gonna want more of that. And then eventually, just from you showing love, doing what you do, that's how the change, that's how that transformation happens from being on this side of the gate to this side of the gate.
That's why I like that song so much. It's a simple song, and all the song is saying is that like, and they got in that movie Fighting Temptations, they got different characters all on. They got the convicts in there, they got old school church folk in there, they got young people in there that's rapping and all kind of stuff. They got hustlers in there, they got everything in there, and that song is just that I fall short, and I'm not worthy of it, but you still give it to me, and you still love me, and no matter what the world says about me, I can always look back to God. I can always look back to Christ and fill that void and fill that gap if I let Him in. You know what I'm saying? And it is throughout that, like I look up there and I see myself in all of these different scenarios. Because at one point, I ain't no comic, nothing like that, but feeling like what it felt like to have cuffs put on me and put in a police car, and I thought I never would have it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing. And then going through, I would never compare my situation to somebody that's done a hard time in prison, but I do know, I got a glimpse of what it felt like to have a record, and then now I can't do anything because of my record. Just because of my record, I'm a good dude. I'm a solid dude. Wouldn't wish bad on nobody. Help, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know me, people know me, whatever like that. But just because of this mistake that I made, now I gotta deal. I have years of not being able to do certain things just because on this paper at one point I made a mistake, and now I'm held to that and I can't move forward. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the issue with that is that people who make mistakes, they get that title. You know, you get that stamp on it, and everywhere you go, you got to put that down, or they find out about you that you got that stamp. Your name is Miguel. Your name ain't misdemeanor. You know what I'm saying? Your name ain't felony or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Your name is Miguel Brown. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. This is who I am, but they hold you. But you know, as people, we do that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if we get that because we're taught from that system.
That's exactly what it is. We taught from that system. Like you're taught that you can't fail, and this is one of the reasons why. It's funny how like how this new age thing is coming to where everybody wants to be their own boss and be be entrepreneurs and investors and everything like that. But most people still fail because we were raised to think that you can't fail, right? You get the like everybody say you fail you get the questions wrong on the test, you fail, you get a bad grade, your grades ain't that good, you're a failure. You know what I'm saying? Or if you do good, you're an honor roll student. So like you get trained not to fail, and when you do fail, there's a label automatically stamped on you. So that plays out to everyday life. You know what I'm saying? You get in trouble, boom. Now you got this stamp on you, and the world looks at you a certain way, right? So it's definitely a society thing.
Absolutely. And then once you just going back, that's what the whole Christ-like situation is. Like, I'm down here with the people that like we make mistakes and we ain't hiding our mistakes. It is what it is. People hide their mistakes because other people make them feel a certain way about their mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like me and the wife was talking about it, how where as a married couple, we ain't you'll never know when we going through something because we ain't about to talk about our business as we going through it because I still believe you don't have too many thoughts and miles on your own and what you got going on. But when we come out of it and we move past it and we genuinely, resolve the situation, whatever it is, now it's a testimony and I can tell you. I don't mind telling somebody else about it. So hopefully if you're going through it, you can, you got something to reference to. Or if you've been through it, you understand. Or you haven't been through it yet, somewhere else that has and like, hey, what y'all do? And we've had that. We've had people hit us up like, look, it's been rough for us. Like, what did y'all do? This is what we dealing with right now. What did y'all do? How y'all working through that? How did y'all work through that? Have you experienced it? Or whatever. If people hit us up just you want to talk to us, just to ask these type of questions. You know what I'm saying? But that's because we've been genuine and we open when it's time to be open. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you'll never know, you'll never ever see on Facebook that we going through something. Right. You know what I'm saying? Unless we tell you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's what we choose. That's smart, though, bro. What we choose to use.
Yeah, that's absolutely smart. Don't ever put your shit out there on Facebook in the midst of the storm. I mean, because people, especially if you do that, expect to be judged. Yeah, right? You're gonna be judged. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that shit with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Because folks will look at your situation and be like, oh, if I was them, I won't. But Slim,
they're gonna judge you. They're gonna label you off the situation.
They're gonna label you off the situation.
I'm gonna tell you, because of you, I think I listened to Pastor Battle a lot. You know what I'm saying? And he was talking about people who are jealous. And he was like, their jealousy has nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only saying that because even if you were to put your shit out there, he was basically saying that if they walked a day in your shoes, they would regret it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't meant to go through what you meant to go through. And so even if you were to go out there and say, okay, well, look, this is what's going on with me, and because some speakers do that. That's the perception that I'm getting from like the Will Smith side now. It's like Will, if you look at Will, he looks like of course he's older. He looks like he's aging, yo. And because of social media and what's going on and all the bullshit, the nonsense that you hear that's probably not even real, you think, oh damn, he aging like hell, man. They're gonna cut his mustache off and he just looks old and he looks like he's not as happy as he used to be, you know what I'm saying? But he's look like he's leading with his defaults. You know, he's leading with all his defects. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I think if you were to do some shit like that, it's like, look, this is what I'm going through. I'm not perfect. Blah 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 blah. This is my defect. I'm leaving it on the table there. But you can't worry about what they say.
Yeah. Yeah. Because our mother, she preached through her stuff. Like if it could be real live, something that was happening inside our house right now. and in that moment, she would use it for that Bible study, whatever it was, and even if they weren't done at that given time dealing with whatever they was dealing with, out of her preaching through it, she was able to get the answers for it sometimes. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So depending on the circumstance, and then if they did deal with it, that's when she definitely used it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you can see, and that's where I learned that the basics, like, what we go through ain't it's not for us. You know what I'm saying? It's for us to gain the strength of it, the toughness part of it. But then it's for somebody else, you know,
to pay it forward.
I mean,
it really it is for us, but it's meant for us to pay it forward when it's all said and done. It's meant for you
to level up.
Yeah, to become a better.
So level up so you can do this.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Yeah.
That's good shit, bro.
So look, that's the vibe. Me and him had the conversation. That's the vibe that I've been in lately. You know what I'm saying? And it probably been helping me out these last couple of weeks. It's been some interesting weeks as a parent these last few weeks, you know what I'm saying? But what about y'all, Joe?
Shit, everything been good. Time's just flying, yo. Time is flying, you know. In less than 6 months, I have an 18-year-old, man. I know I look like it, but, you know, given we at that point where it's time for him to, it's not time, but he's, you know, applying to different colleges, you know, the FAFSA reform, the SATs, ACTs, going through all the loopholes that we all had to go through. It's just been a while since we've been through them, right? I'm excited for him, but it hit me out the blue. Like, my wife always speaks about it. She's like, yo, you know, he'll be 18 soon. And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy for him. Good, yeah. But, man, I was cooking pancakes. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh shit. Yeah. In less than 6 months, he was 18. Yeah. Like, my man is about to be a young man now. Yeah. Somebody had to hit my mother. Oh, my God. What's up? You know, it's time. Yeah. It's time. So I'm proud of him. You know what I'm saying? That's why most time he's not here today, but I stay close to him. You know, so that's that season that I'm in, man. It's really
ready, man. Roller coaster about to stop.
Woo! You ain't seen nothing. And so and that's what me and you gonna have to talk about, because you got 18-year-old girls.
Nothing.
I got a young man.
And see, that's the difference, too, boy. I don't care what you say. The difference in your son and your daughter is two different things. Gotcha. I know, like, just even think about me growing up, like, the way my parents was with me versus how my father and her mother was with my sister. Yeah. And when she hit the age of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, she still had to, even after turning 21, like, my father knew that she was drinking, but to ease his mind and all that, she couldn't put the drink in a
Slim.
She had to put it in
like a little bottle or something.
Kind of cup. It had to be in a sip, because, like, this is no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And of course, she for a while she did it out of respect for our father, and then, you know, just, you know, not wanting to deal with him stressing out or whatever. It was still like, it's a difference, man. Like, we gonna get into it. I'll tell y'all about my 2 weeks, man. Well, bruh, you on high?
Yeah, man. Made a solid decision. You know what I'm saying? I was in a kind of like a transitional period. Just trying to figure out what I wanted to do between doing stuff in the previous group that I was in, and, you know, kind of like branching out and doing my own thing. And you know, I started actually transitioning to doing something different. But you know, I prayed. You know what I'm saying? I've been listening to Pastor Michael Todd. I've been reading my Bible. I've been in the Word a lot lately. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of like being still but working at the same time. Just seeing what God gave me, and you know, so I decided to keep rocking with my old team, and I put together some things for them. And it's funny, as I was putting together, you know, my setup. As I was putting together my stuff, my program, I was listening to TD Jakes, the Builder for Expansion joint, and as he was talking, it's like everything that I wanted to say, everything that I wanted to put down, every idea that I had, it was just flowing. By the time I'm done, I start calling all my leaders, like, yo, look, so I don't know if you picked it up, but we back. You know what I'm saying? We back. Here, take this link. I want you to look at this for me right now. Like, go through it, read it out loud, and you know, it's funny because as I was doing that with all my leaders, everybody told me, mind you, nobody had talked to each other, but everybody told me the impact that I had on their lives. Right, that was one extra confirmation. Like, all right, cool, yeah, I know I'm doing what I need to be doing. Then everybody ended with, whatever you need from me, however I can be of service to you, let me know.
Gotcha.
Right, and as soon as and it took me for the last person, so I probably talked to about 6 or 7 people, and they all said that, and they all ended up with that. And one thing that played in my mind was a pastor saying, being of service, the more that you're in service of people, the more that you're being of service, the more people will be of service to you. And I was just like, damn. And then when I thought about that, I thought about how much serving that I've been doing through the past year or two. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing a lot of serving and not really getting much back, but it wasn't for me getting back. I just love to be in a place of serving my people, especially in the financial, you know, in finances, like, cause that's like one of my biggest problems, bro. You know what I'm saying? So if I can feed the people that way, man, I can be dead all day, not feeling it, sick, whatever the case may be, but I hop on that call and I'm alive. Like, it just something come over me and I'm alive and I'm good. I'm giving them all my energy and everything. So, you know, that was that. So, you know, I had a nice little time, you know, with that. Oh, one of the biggest keys, y'all, is praying for discernment. That's one big thing. Like, I always pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but when I started praying for discernment, that right there changed the game for me. That's when I could really hear God. That's when I really felt comfortable, because sometimes you don't know if you're hearing God or if you just hearing the thought in your head, you know what I'm saying, that you coming up with based off
problem that you're going through.
Right, you know what I'm saying, so it might be based off your own will, you know what I'm saying, so you don't know. But once I started praying for that, it wasn't necessarily that I was like hearing the voice in my head go, my son, dude. Nah, I was just noticing how things were going more. And like, while I was on the phone with Miguel, this shit happened like live on the phone with Miguel.
The dude
I was talking to him. Yeah, I was talking to him about serving others. I was talking to him about something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but damn, what was it?
What dude was talking to you about? You know, I don't even remember.
You just talking about giving or something like that.
It was like giving or something.
Yeah, he told me a story about when he was younger. I
couldn't hear him too much, but I could hear it.
Yeah, you heard, right? But you know, he lady had dropped a wallet or something like that. He picked it up, found the joint with like about $500 in the joint, and he seen it was a woman, so he ain't take it. He just sat there and he just waited for the person to come back. Came back, the woman seen him. She gave it to him, and it didn't. And he gave it to her. And, you know, she thanked him and everything like that, but didn't really give him nothing after that, you know what I'm saying? And he was just talking about how, even though, you know what I'm saying, you know, but that's just because that's the moral code that I stand by, you know what I'm saying? I stand on stuff like that. I stand on morals and things of that nature. And he was like, he was telling me that, you know what I'm saying? So even if, you know, you giving or whatever the case may be, it doesn't necessarily mean that you not going to get it back or whatever the case may be. You might get it back, but it might be, you know, it might be in another form of fashion, but you just know that God always gonna take care of you.
Right? Yeah, I believe you blessed based upon your intent, you know. Right. I mean, everybody wants to do something to receive something back. Right. You know what I'm saying? They don't do it just because it's the right thing to do.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it sounds like he was, you know, his moral code is it's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
And I don't give a damn if I'm not blessed by it. It's just that it's not mine.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what he was talking. And it was funny because me and Miguel was talking about, you know what I'm saying, serving. It was something about serving and things of that nature. And I was like, see, there it is right there, bro. You just heard it live. That was a confirmation from God right there. If I hadn't prayed for discernment, I would have just thought this was some random old dude. Because he rode up on the bike. He was a raggedy looking dude, you know what I'm saying? He just rode up on the bike and was just right there. But
and just started rapping to you?
Just started rapping to me.
I had that. I'm going to call you. I had this happen the other day too, son. Mike, this dude, I'm sitting waiting at a stop and wait for this doctor to open up. And a guy come out, and he see me. He came over there, white guy. He came over there. His name Kurt. I hope I run into him again. He ran into him. He's like, he was asking me about some diversions. I live in Virginia. I don't know nothing about Virginia. Okay, we know as far as the Hoffman. Okay, right. I don't know, and because I be in Manassas, I know a little bit out there, Potomac Mills. Outside of that, I can't give you no directions in Virginia. I've been delivering down there a couple months now. I still don't know my way around without a GPS. But anyway, I'm sitting there waiting, and he come over there. And he asked me about directions or whatever. And I was like, nah, I don't know. He pulled out these 2 cards. I got them cards in my bag too. And he showed me, it was a red card and a blue card. Since I worked for Coke, he was like, let's look at this like Coke and Pepsi. Right? He held these cards to me. He's like, well, which one's bigger? Coke or Pepsi? And I'm like, well, Coke bigger. And I'm not speaking business when I'm speaking based off of these cards. Yeah. So I'm like, the Coke card, the red one is bigger. And he flipped them over. And he's like, now which one? And I was like, well, now the Pepsi. So he was like, he's like, but he's like, you changed your decision that quick? I said, it's not that I changed my decision. My perspective changed. He was like, oh, you got it. So with these cards, now mind you, had some Bible verses and some other stuff into it, but his point with them cards was that it's all perspective, right? Mm-hmm. And then he used those cards, and we end up getting into some spiritual conversation. Yeah. And he was just like, he flipped them again. He said, it's what it is. And then he flipped them both in the same direction, but facing inward. And when they faced inward, they looked the exact same size. But when it was next to each other, facing going in the same direction, it looked like one was bigger than the other. I'm gonna show you the cards. I got them outside. And I was like, man, and he was like, that's perspective. That's, and he started, we just talking about God and, different ways and how God moves in our lives. And by having God in our lives, the perspective that we're able to see versus when you don't. Because you got a different view of how you view things and all this other stuff. And we just got into it. And at the end of it, he was like, you gave me something better than directions. He was asking me for directions. He's like, you gave me something better than directions. I said, you just gave me more confirmation of where I'm at right now. And he was like, you saved and everything. And I told him, yeah, saved. I said, but I said recently me and my brother have been talking more just about being more connected with Christ than what we've been. Mm-hmm. And then here you come over here and we prayed, and his prayer wasn't Miguel have a blessed day, was that for me to continue to be able to be enlightened and the right situations happen for me to continue to direct me in the right place. And it was a heavy prayer, it was a strong prayer, man. Dude, it was a good dude too.
Just a random joke.
Random joke. Like I said, I was sitting over there chilling, waiting for a doctor to open. He had just finished in the store. Mm-hmm. He worked for I think Premium, big company or whatever. And he came over there and he just started going. And I said, man, listen. He thanked me just as much as I thanked him. You know what I'm saying? So it was all perspective, and then just everything being open to understand that and receive that. Because anybody else, and then his approach was amazing too. Yeah. Because I had another young dude approach me like, "Hey, do you believe in this?" Well, your church ain't that good anyway. My church, at my church, he's like, at my church, we teach this, and this. I was like, well, if I was going to interested, you just shit on my situation. I don't want no part of that. I said, well, what church you go to anyway? Since you downplaying mine. He's like, I go to the Holy Church of the United States. And I said, no, you can kick rocks right now and all that. You missed me with all that right there. Holy International United States. I was like, nah, we good, Chad. You good. Keep on going. I was like, bro, it's 8 o'clock at night. You in here hunting for believers in Giant? Yeah. Everybody gonna cuss you out, brother. We trying to get in and get out. So, yeah,
that was funny. You told me you ain't here hunting for believers.
Yeah, your approach is wrong, boy. I was like, first of all, it take balls to come out here and try to do that. Yeah, but come on, bro.
Yo, if y'all can hear Miguel's voice, I've been knowing this dude for a very long time. And talk about a holler. He's not a screamer. He hollers. Yeah. And I can only imagine. You in aisle 8 and you
know what made him come to me? I got my hoodie on, though. But anytime I go to the grocery store, I always put my AirPods in because I put some music on while I'm shopping. You know what I'm saying?
Get in the zone.
And he caught my attention and he just started, now mind you already put this face on like, somebody come knock on your door. You know when they knock on your door like, hey, I can help you save money on your Pepco bill. Man, get out of here, man. You know what I'm saying?
So you already knew it was something coming.
I knew it was something coming down the pike, but then he just went into his spiel like, churches don't teach this no more. I'm like, I don't even remember what it was, man. I was just like, the fact that in order for you to try to gain people, he was downplaying and shitting on anybody else's belief system or churches or whatever. Like, how you know your spot right, bro?
But peep this. That's an old way.
The old way.
That's an old. For many years, you had Jehovah's Witnesses, everybody, even Christians, would do that exact same thing. Like, okay, well, your shit ain't right, so now I'm gonna downgrade you
and how do you know? Have you taken the time? You ain't got enough grade on your face, head, or nothing to let me know that you've taken the time to study these different, you know what I'm saying, beliefs to say who's better and who's not better. Yeah. So, dude, you still got, man, get out of here. Roll out, Slim. What's good, Shane, man?
Chilling, man, grinding, man. You know, doing the work here at the lab, working on some other stuff. So, yeah, been good, man. It's funny y'all said that because Pastor Battle today was talking about being a service and how within that service you could be out of tune with God. You know, so you could be just working and busy, but it's not towards nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't really know. You know, I ain't really too versed up on the Bible and the stories, but he told about the story with Mary and I forget the other chick name, or whatever it was. She had an attitude. You know what I'm saying? She had an attitude towards Jesus, and Jesus came off at her like that. Like, you know, I am, you know, the alpha and the, like, you know, who you talking to. Yeah. But then when he dealt with Mary, it was totally different, just with how she was. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But look, but you see how he passed the batter made that story the way he could remember. He might not remember the names and exactly who it was.
But Mary J. Blige. Hey, but I know the chick was Mary and the other chick, her name was an M or whatever. But she just had an attitude. He was just saying like, that's what happens in the church. You know what I'm saying? You get somebody who just so busy and, you know, they're like, well, we don't have help in this, and they was like, well, because you didn't take, you serving, but you still got to take time to be in tune with God. You know what I'm saying? You doing all this work, but you haven't sat in on the church service. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't sat in on the church service, so you didn't have a chance to connect with the people in the service. So then you could have got more people to come help you out in whatever area you in. You know what I'm saying? So it just shows like, you know, it's not only about, like you said, whatever we going through, it ain't really about us, it's about the relationships that we build.
You know what I'm saying? And you know what that means? I took from that, a lot of people think that they can get to the other side
by being busy.
By just the work. You know what I'm saying? Or because I went to church and I'm doing this and I'm driving in the van ministry, or I'm an usher, or I'm this, that, and the other. They think that, okay, once you cross over, that's going to allow you to be, okay, look,
that's it.
Yeah, bro, it ain't nah.
I don't know the verse, but it's
with any relationship, just like, you know, a lot of people think when they get married, you know, that's it. You know, that's it, and then as long as we got, you know,
the bills paid,
money and all that stuff, everything will be all right. But I haven't worked on the intimacy and the connection and all that kind of stuff. You ain't sold in your marriage.
Right. And you know, one of the biggest things that I think I told Miguel this. I said, one of the biggest things is that it put in perspective of why everything is the way that it is. Think about it, like all the stuff that is the most detrimental to you is free. You got social media and porn. Though you know that those are both free. Those are both free. You can get an abundance of it.
I'm gonna tell a joke.
But it's an abundance of both of those, and it's free. And the reason why it's free is because it distracts you from being still. Like, think about it. You
talk about that. Like, it's crazy how like. He said, don't be distracted by people who already have distractions. It's just like, you know, when people inbox me or, you know, especially old people on Facebook, they send you all of these, like, especially like when we were doing the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? You got, you know, somebody on social media, on IG, see, this why y'all don't need to be taking this and taking that. Well, who is you?
Right.
You're just a person with a voice. You don't have no degree. You know what I'm saying? You may take some black seed oil every now and then or whatever, but you about to tell everybody what they need to do, and you only basing this on your experience.
And and the thing is, they say it in such a way that but people like, he must really know what he talking about because of what he talking about. But why do he know what he talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like
just cause you like me, I'm especially big on like discernment. I'm like that when it comes to social media. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the stories, even current stuff that y'all be talking about, I don't even know about because I don't try to. Like, I only got so much memory in my mind. You know, I look at my mind like a computer. Yep. So I can't afford to click on this because I was supposed to be writing this plan, but now I done clicked on this 30-minute clip of this Bama on IG talking about eating lemons and this is why the government is trying to do this. Now I'm infected by that. So now I'm off in a tangent.
You distracted.
You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna wrap it now.
You know what I'm saying?
Now
So,
2 hours deep listening to some bullshit.
You know what I'm saying? And see, I'm real like, you know, and I'm cool with like not knowing all of this stuff because in the end, what I learned is like I don't really like collecting checks that I can't cash. So all of these opinions about the virus, opinions about making this, you know, whatever is going on, what do those have to do with paying my bills? Anything that's really relevant to me, you know what I'm saying? How is that helping me finish this project or doing this, you know? So it's like if those aren't things that are really, you know, feeding whatever you got to feed, why, you know, it's like junk food.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
bro.
And that's the truth. And my thing is this: is if you as far as like being still never meant to like not do anything. Being still means being focused, but always keeping your mind on God. So let's say, for example, right, like I was telling Migo, if like God may have had you were probably supposed to, the next person that you saw, you was probably supposed to sow like $100 in their life just to sow. But because you was on your phone at the light, you didn't see the dude that was right there, you know what I'm saying, that you wouldn't have been able to sow. And just because you sowed that probably would have been something crazy on the back end type shit, you know what I'm saying? And so my point is this, is how, ask yourself how, what I say, how fertile is the soil of your mind?
Oh, I remember when you said that. That was fire too.
Man, it was something I came out with off the break. I said, how fertile is the soil of your mind in order to receive the seed that God is trying to sow into? Right, you know what I'm saying? Like,
say it again.
I'm trying. That was
pretty
close.
much. That was close. That was like 98% close.
So pretty much how fertile is the soil? How fertile is the soil of your mind in order for you to actually receive the seed that God is actually trying to plant into your life? For real, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people miss out on these seeds, and a lot of people don't have they're not able to even get to the harvest part that's meant for them because they not still enough. They don't pray for the discernment. They don't have the discernment enough to sit back and really realize what this conversation was. Because like I said, I could have brushed that conversation off as something different, but because I understand discernment now, because I got discernment now, I understood off the rip that was a confirmation. And then from that confirmation, I was able to, I like that thought, that quote, that literally came to my mind like right after that. You know what I'm saying? But that's because of discernment.
When you so, you know, you too busy to hear from God.
Right, exactly.
And it's like you so busy, you know, you got all of this junk going on, you know what I'm saying, flying around in your mind, and it's like, at the end of the day, what is that?
That's not done.
Hey, it's right here. It's right here. Matthew 7:21 through 23. But yeah, we taking y'all to church today, Joe. Not everyone who calls out to me, Lord, Lord, will enter to the kingdom of heaven. Only those who actually do the will of my Father in heaven will enter. On judgment day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, we prophesied in your name, we cast out demons in your name, and we performed many miracles in your name. But I never knew you. Get away from me, you who break God's laws. And the King James version, the ones that I remember, says, depart from me, O workers of iniquity. And just everything we just said is that you being busy about much and you doing a whole lot, but at the end of the day, you're not doing nothing. And to Tim's point with this whole, like, it's I don't remember it. It's in there. The scriptures will talk about planting seeds on ground that's not meant for them seeds to be planted. You see what I'm saying? Like there's people out here that think they doing a lot, and I've been doing this and I've been doing that and I've been putting here and I've been investing in that sort of, but they don't have no return on it. It's a reason why you don't have a return on it, because that wasn't for you. It's like when back when my mother was preaching heavy and everything, we had a friend of ours, somebody who we came to call a brother of ours. Remember, been married young. And he wanted that.
Yeah.
He wanted a wife. He wanted that time, you know what I'm saying? And he felt like he deserved it. He would be a good husband and all these different things. And I'm talking about wrecked himself trying to get it. You know what I mean? And he could never find it. And then I even got him a job where I was at. But in that job, he ended up messing up, quitting and everything. And I said this to Tim when he was younger. And I made this point at one point is that it's a lot of times we ain't anointed for everything.
Right.
Everything ain't meant for you. So when you looking at like social media and all, you looking at these people's lives, some of the stuff that you want and that you shooting for not meant for you. And if you, or it's not meant for you at the time you think it is.
Yeah.
And if you get it too soon or you get into something that ain't meant for you, it's not gonna produce well. It ain't gonna end up being good. I can handle what I can handle because it was meant for me to handle it. You see what I'm saying? Like Tim in a situation where Ruth caved in, he might not have been able to handle that the way that I handled it. Right. You know what I'm saying? He might not have been able to deal with his family the way that I dealt with my family in that situation. You see what I'm saying? And you could think of 1,000 different scenarios. You know, business, friendships, relationships, whatever. Everything ain't meant for you. Just because you can don't mean that you need to. You see what I'm saying? And then you might be taking on too much. You might be getting more than what you can handle.
Yeah, because sometimes God, he'll let you have it.
He'll let you have it. All right, go ahead.
All right, you sure?
You sure you want that? You ain't ready for these 2 more 45s.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not ready for these extra 5 miles that this take that you're going. But all right, go ahead.
Because you gotta have, and the same token, like with being still, you gotta have the humility, right? This is why, like Pastor Michael Todd said something so key. He was saying that if God told me to start all the way over and be a plumber or a janitor, whatever the case may be, I do it because myself, my identity is not wrapped into what I do. That's not mine. Like you said earlier, it's not mine. It's not mine. This money's not mine. This whatever's not mine. This skill is not mine. It was here before me and it's going to be here after me. This is just a vehicle that God was having me use. So in humility to God, if I'm truly humble, then I would have no problem with starting over and going to the next thing, you know what I'm saying, being whatever else or going to the next mission or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, because that sense of pride and identity, which is one of the biggest, like what they call them, the 7 deadly sins or whatever the case may be, is pride. That's one of the things that get people clipped up all in life, in the Bible, in every sense of the word. Pride, you know what I'm saying, that gets you clipped up. So, you know, just I lost my train of thought. So, but I got my point.
I will say this: nobody's a fan of failure at all, right? But it's through failure that we gain these lessons and these teachings here, right? Yep. And so we always try to duck it. Always try to duck. So yeah, it may not be for you. It may not be for you at the moment, but that's a lesson that you learn. You gotta go through it. You have to go through bumping your head this way in order for you to learn to pay that forward.
Yeah, exactly. You know it's because it's ego. It's because that's why we don't want to lose. Because our egos when we're here, I'm scared to move. This is why people don't move, and this is why people are scared to fail. This is why people pussyfoot around, because they don't want to fail. It's gonna hurt my ego. Because how am I gonna look if I put out to the world that I'm doing this? If I set out to the world that I'm doing this and then I get hurt, that's how you know that pride is your Achilles heel. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if I know what God told me for my life, if I'm moving how God wanted me to move, I don't care what happens, right? I know how my story, and so nothing that you say, nothing that you do, or what your opinion about me or whatever, or what happens, it doesn't matter because I know how my story is.
But the Bible is full of failure.
It's full of failure.
It's full. It's full.
And that's they be cutting out. And look,
and nobody wants to say that.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody wants to say it's story after story about letdown and failure, and then they learn from that. So, just like what you just said, nobody wants to look like, okay, I put this out. But how much more powerful would you be if you come back and say, Slim, it didn't go right, but this is what I learned from it. This is what I got to go back and do. This is what you tell folks, and how much more powerful would you be amongst your peers, and how much more powerful would they be with the words that you just gave?
Exactly.
We typically fail when our ego allow us to think that there's no more work to be done. You know what I'm saying? When your ego's like, oh, well, you done made it, or you know, you ain't gotta get no more reps in.
Right.
Because now you feeding into, I'm here.
Your head, that your head get big, and at that point, that's where God snatched it away from you. All right, that's what you thought. All right, cool. Let me get that back then. Let me get that back.
That's what say. Get work till it ain't no work.
Get work till it ain't no work.
There's always work to be got. There you go. There's always work to be got. You know what I'm saying? Like no matter what you, even when you get to a place where you kind of settled and you could really just chill where you at the, you at that place now you would now you got to create the work. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, and it might not necessarily. Now, I'm not saying create no situations to cause nothing like that. What I'm saying is that you at a stable spot now. You good, but now what's next? So now you need, and now it's time to create. Now it's time to seek and create and figure out what's the next move and what's the next challenges, because I wasn't meant to just be stagnant right here. You know what I'm saying? I will get to a point where I believe that God gives you this level of peace. It's like, all right, you can chill now. I don't need you to do no more work. Let them do that. You just relax in the blessings and the benefits that have been awarded to you now because of the work of your service. You know what I'm saying? And but until I get to that point, I know it's still work that I need to be doing. You know what I mean? And that's look, the failures, everything. That's what I'm trying to show the kids now. Yeah. Because like you said, Frank, you gonna be hitting me up in a little bit to see, man. And I'm trying to tell you, like, these last 2 weeks, man, real with this whole parenting thing. Gotcha. Boy, like I got, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast last, but I know I told y'all about it. I was taking a 19-year-old for her to get her first car. Yeah. And she got it. And I said, hey, you got you an adult bill now. Yeah. You got you an adult bill now. So, like, things, the way you moving, how you been doing things, like, it's different. Yeah. You can't just up and go or not do whatever. Things look different now, and you gotta think about that. And this is the perspective you got here. We even had a conversation with, you know, now that she do have her own vehicle, she can get to work more frequently about changing her hours at work and all that. And her mindset was so stuck in one way that she couldn't even see. I was like, all right, well, did you get to? I was like, that might not be a spot that you want to stay at. But the lady who you dealing with is helping you get a lot of things. Like, so where are you at with that? And she had excuse on the top of excuse. I be tired. Like, I gotta finish it. Or I can't leave this job because I gotta have this much this. You gotta have a year experience and you gotta have these certifications. How many months you got there now? 3. All right, so you got 6 more months to go. What's up with the certifications? I just be tired. When somebody say they be tired of me, I be like, you tired? Yeah. You tired? You ain't that tired because you can come home at 6, shoot out of here and go do whatever, and then come back. I said, you ain't that tired. I was like, but everybody got a road that they got to go through in getting what they want. I said, rethink about this. When I lost my CDL, in order for me to get my CDL back, the easiest way that I could get it back, I had to be during the 6-month time frame. I had to work 2 jobs. Mm-hmm. I was supervising a moving company during the day, and at night I was working in a warehouse. Yeah. And then meanwhile, still had to give all y'all daddy time and husband time and everything. You talking about tired? Yeah. You think I wanted to do that, but I didn't want to do that. Mm-hmm. I had to go through that point so I could get back to where I wanted to be at. Mm-hmm. I said, you at a point where you're right. You can't go nowhere right now because you don't have the experience that people were saying. But you're in a place that you can get the experience. Mm-hmm. You can get whatever certifications you need in that time frame so that when that year's up, you can be gone. Yeah. You can be gone. I was like 6 months. I told him when my 6 months is up, I'm going back to driving. Month 7, I was back driving. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, you got to do the work. I was like, it ain't just going I can't do this and I can't do that. You thinking about it wrong.
Do a little bit every day.
I was like, you thinking about it wrong. You thinking what you just can't do, and you just fed up with that. So now you ain't doing nothing.
You know the issue why that is. T.D. Jakes, once again, he was saying that it's because as parents, especially growing up throughout from generation to generation, we hid the struggle.
Yeah, man.
Well, and you know what? That's true, and that's the difference. With her, I let her see it. And we had conversations, like, for example, like a Christmas night we rolled around. Like, we can't do this. We can't do Christmas this year. And this child literally, maybe I think she might have been 13 or 14 years old, because she understood the situation right now, what was going on. She was like, she was in her art. She was like, just give me some paper and some color pencils. So this is all she asked for Christmas. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, brought a tear to our eye that our baby, that's what has to happen. Mm-hmm. But it also was like that she understood. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then so that we can still do more for her, the younger ones that need. And I feel like if more parents did that, or if we would have got that, as we were coming up,
it would be more that this whole microwave thing wouldn't have so much of a hold. It wouldn't have so many people by the throat. You know what I'm saying? Because if you kept the problems, you keep the problems away from the child, and they grew up thinking that it just happens. It just happens for you, but it's really not like that. So when you try to go do something on your own, you think it's all simple and it's easy, and now you get that first roadblock and you ready to quit, right? And then we see that happening all the time, right? But that's because as kids, they hide it from you. So and this is why one thing I do admire about the wealthy is that they, in their business meetings or whatever the case may be, they keep I know a lot of them, they keep their they let them kids see the process, right? So now, like, I had friends in the military, you know what I'm saying, white boys and shit like that. They would they already knew that they was going to go take over dad business. You know what I'm saying? They could break down the numbers to me. They know what they was gaining and what they was losing, right? So they already knew the whole process because dad had them right there. They already knew, even down to actually, being on the sticks and actually operating the machinery that we was using. Dad had them right there doing it, so they already knew what was going on. So where like somebody like me or somebody who didn't have that type of background, I'm over here thinking, all right, shit, that look cool. All right, cool, I can do it too. But when I first got in that dozer, or I got in that scraper or whatever machine I was in, I get in that joint and I'm chopping up the whole motherfucking, chopping up the whole yard or whatever the case may be. So, but it's because, I didn't have that background. I didn't have nobody to show me that. Take me out. Right, I had that experience.
Yeah, that. And unfortunately, especially us with teenagers, the thing is, whether you got an open situation or not with your kids, and you do let them see things like that, they still teenagers, and the teenage mindset still does something different, and they still gonna do what they want to do, and they gonna try your hand, they gonna try their hand, and all kind of stuff. That's like this weekend we had a with her being 19, we ain't never had no 19-year-old before. Right. And we trying to, and I couldn't really talk to my mother about this because I was like, my mother didn't have these issues with me. It was like, what in the world? We are in this space where she don't know how to be a 19-year-old in regards to, her responsibilities and the respects and things that she need to have. And us, we parents and this 19-year-old trying to figure out what rules that we have put on her and things like that, and it's all trial and error, it's give and take. Well, you might have did this, but we ain't like it, so all right, well, you can't do that no more, and whatever. And so then her thing is like, but it seems like y'all contradicting because you let me do it here, but then now you don't. Well, we let you try it, we ain't like it. Now this is why it's in place, and this is why these things are happening. So we literally. We sat down with her.
But that's okay though.
Yeah. We sat down with her. We said, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna come to the table and we're gonna figure this out. You want some adulthood, I'm gonna give you something. Yeah. We not about to sit here and just tell you what it is you can and can't do. We're gonna come to the table like adults and we're gonna negotiate this and we're gonna work this out. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna tell you what we think. You tell us what we think, and we're going to meet it somewhere in the middle. Because the whole point of a negotiation is you going to give a little, we're going to give a little. You ain't going to like it all the way. We might not going to like it all the way. But it's somewhere that it's a ground that we have met on. It's settled, and we know what the standards is, what the guidelines are, whatever, and we know how to work. Yeah. And we had that, and at this point, like, this is what we said at the time. These are your times. This is what it looked like. No, you still 19. Like, yes, you've entered into adulthood, but real talk, 19 and 20 is, I thought, those are the worst 2 years that we have because you still can't do nothing. Like, the world says that at 18, I'm considered an adult, and I can get medical coverage, and I can do this on my own.
Fight for the country.
I can fight for the country and all that, but I still can't go buy a drink. I still can't get into some places just because I ain't hit 21 yet. So you in this limbo stage of these 19 and 20 trying to figure it out, and it's like, but you still living home with your parents, and this is what my rules are. You gonna respect my house, and you gonna do as such. I was like, now I ain't kicking you out, but if you don't want to do this, you got a choice. You can go get your own, and you can move out, and you can create your own rules, or you could be here and be in a better situation to where, because I'm never gonna put my kids out because that whole kick them out of 18, that is a
slave mentality.
Terrible. Like that is the worst thing that you could possibly do to us because Shawty ain't even know how to call a doctor and make a doctor's appointment. You know, what do I do with this? How do I do that? I don't know. How do I check my pay stub? What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? It's stuff that they don't know, and they got to learn it, and they still need to be taught. Like, so yes, you got it where you could kind of do stuff, but you still don't know enough to do anything. You still
like
dependent.
Your introductory to adulthood. Like you need all the coaching between 18 and 20.
Yeah, you need everything.
All the coaching, all the help between that. You know what I'm saying? So you learn what you need to learn in that space before you know that transition happens, that 21 transition, and you know maybe you got the opportunity or you've done enough. You know what I'm saying, to actually be able to sustain yourself and be on your own.
But those are good years to really get your reps in.
Definitely.
Because you cannot do certain things, but yet you still have certain responsibilities of who you are and what your age is, right? Mm-hmm. And so I look at it like this, and I told my oldest son, I said, when you were younger, you know, we had to be your supervisor, your frontline supervisor. We had to watch over everything you do, teach you how to move like this and that and the other. The older you got, we became a manager. I'm managing what you do. All right. Now I'm at the point where Slim, I'm an advisor. I'm gonna advise you to do this. I'm gonna advise you to do that. Right. After that, Slim, I'm not cleaning up your mess because those are the lessons that you have to learn. I can't walk through life full. I can't walk through this life for you. I can't feel certain kind of ways. I can only lead you in love and advise you in love. Okay. This looks like the way to go. Why? Because this is the plan. And if we follow this plan, we could end up with success. The plan could go south. We need to, you know, get a plan B or something. But this is the plan. Whenever I'm dealing with advisors at work, that's all that they give us is a work plan and a workflow based on their experience. Yep. And it does not necessarily say that this is going to be an A+ plan for success, but for the most part, you should meet the mark. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where you at right now.
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
We're your advisors.
And that's exactly what I told you. Yep.
And right now, our house got a time limit on it. Our doors lock up at 1 o'clock.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. After 1 o'clock, what are your plans? You know, what are your plans? And so I think you on the right page, brother. You know, don't fret. I know it can be a little, especially as a father of a girl, you know, you still gotta have that protection mode. Yeah, because so much more.
Because that's exactly what part of the conversation was, that like we here to, like, at this point where you at now, and I try to get this for the wife to understand. Like we at this point we her advisors. That's just what it is. I was like, we could give it to her. After that, it's up to her to do it. Like, for example, you know, she got her first car payment and insurance not due until December. You know, at the time when she got the car, she had a solid 45 days before she had to make her first appointment. I said, set yourself up right. Do this right here, so that when December get here, what you getting ready for in December, you ain't getting ready. You ain't trying to pay December. You already worked on January. And you know what I'm saying? I was like, and some things happened. And then she's like, well, I want to go to Florida next week and with her boyfriend or whatever. I'm like, okay. And I told her, I said, all right. I said, I'm not telling you not to go to Florida. I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and then after that, you just think about it, and you do it. Like, if you go to Florida, like, do you have a job? Is she paying you time off? Do you have vacation time? If you don't got vacation time, like, you only make this much. If you miss a week, can you handle missing a week of your check based off of what you bringing in and what you got to pay? Yeah. You saying, like, are you going to be able to handle that? I said, because I told her, it's going to come a time where you're going to need our help to pay this, and we are okay with that. But don't think that we're gonna save you from it. If you know something come up and you know things like that, and you just happen to be sure you need help, we got you. But if you decide to, like this, for example, take a trip or whatever, and you piss your money off, and now you're gonna lose that car. You know, and I'm gonna let you feel like what it feel like to lose that car and to try to get it back. Yeah. Because you gotta understand, every decision you make now gotta go into everything. Because not only are you planning for your car payment now and your insurance, but you also planning for the 2 credit cards that you got as well. And you gotta manage your money accordingly. You gotta do this thing right. This 45 days before is just the best thing that you could get, because you can set yourself up right to where you are not stressing over trying to come up with your money. And you know,
I will say this: the wife and I try to meet on a regular basis. Try. And what we have found is that brings success towards not only us as a team, brings success to our financial situation, and also towards our plans for our children and business. We also try weekly with Frankie. You know what I'm saying? Because of the stage that he's in. Okay, this is Scholarship Sunday. Every Sunday at a certain time, it's Scholarship Sunday. We going over schools. We going over scholarships. What's going on with your learners? What's up with this? And then we're trying to set plans around all of those things. That might be a tactic to use, especially with the young 19-year-old. Like, look, you meet at work with everybody else once a week. You meet with your friends once a week. Now it's time for you to meet with your advisors once a week. And then we got to build plans around each and okay. So what do you have for the month? Okay, Friday you want to go to Florida? Bet. Let's plan it out. Let's see if your money needs to mop.
Right.
You know, or guess what? You might be off $100 because you've been doing what you've been doing. Here's the 100. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all kind of ways to get around, but I'm saying, teamwork make the dream work.
Absolutely.
And
that's what we
and definitely meeting once a week or whenever to discuss those things, not when it's hot and it's too far behind, it's problematic now. Nah, getting ahead of that thing really works.
Because that'll also create habits. Good habits. Damn, that's some sauce right there.
And look, and understand what you still gonna deal with. Like while we were having this conversation, so when we had this conversation, I brought my sisters in, and everybody, the girls that was on the show.
That's good shit.
Because the ages are there. So you got one of them. Lexi was in a situation where she could do whatever the hell she wanted without being questioned. My sister was definitely more strict for her. The other, Anna, it wasn't as strict, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't as strict. She still could kind of do what she wanted, but it was a certain level of, it was a guideline there. And then you have my other cousin who wasn't here, Lisette, where she was the one that, fine then, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to move out, and I'm going to do this. And so I had all of these different perspectives get to show, like the fact that they were like, they was like, Ariana, the fact that your parents are willing to sit here with you and do this when parents don't do that, like this is amazing. Like you get a situation, and it was crazy because in Ariana's eyes, but they only gonna do what they did before. They not going this and they not going that. I said, well, Reed, you holding us to a past. She was like, well, I remember when I came in the house one time at 12:01 and I got in trouble. We was like, Reed, how old was you at that? I was 14, 15. So don't even go there. Okay? Right, don't even, you can't even run that to us when you got to understand the situation and just know that you had did more going against the time that we told you prior to that before you had finally got in trouble. You see what I'm saying? I was like, so it's all perspective and everything got to change. Just like you don't want us to, you don't want us to do what we was doing before. You got a good record that if we wanted to, we could hold you to the record that what you got. And trust me, this could be a whole lot more worse than you. I say, because at the end of the day, remember one thing, Reed, you still my daughter and you still in my house. I tell my kids this all the time now. This is my new line. This is not a democracy. This is a dictatorship, and I run this. That's right. Hey, no I'll pay for your therapy later on. Right. It's what I say in my house. These are the rules, and this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And this is how you got to do that. I said, if I want to, I can tell you need to be in here by this time all the time. It's no question to it. There's no exception to it. And 3 strikes you out. I can put you out. Now, for one of my kids to get put out of my house, you got to really do bad. There got to be some real disrespect. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be real bad for you to actually get kicked out. You know what I'm saying? I can change the locks if I want to. I said, yes, that's your car with your name on there. But you know what? I go out there and slash all your tires. And won't think nothing about it. Like, so my point to that was that as your parents, it's stuff that we can do. Like to where you think that, you know what I'm saying, we were trying to make it seem like she thought that it was unfair that it would be consequences to some of the stuff we saying. We was like, well, ain't it consequences at your job?
Everything.
Ain't it consequences if you don't make it on time to work? If you don't do this, and
that's the thing that you fail to realize when you first get into that adult stage. You forget, you think consequences stop. That shit don't stop.
And they're only doing this to teach her. So when she is on her own, the survival game is much more better for her.
It's like young folks, you know, at that age, they don't think. It's just like
shout out to Rick.
We was having a conversation behind the scenes on the show. Like they just think they got it all figured out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like your variables, you only did this once. and it may have worked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But young people don't realize rules are instilled, one, so you can develop habits, but also rules in one place go all over.
Yeah.
It's the reason why you can't come in this house at a certain time. So when you get a job, you show up on time. So if I let you stay out past your curfew, then when you wake up, you're not the same as sharp as you was.
It goes into character.
Yeah,
Your
exactly. And you should not only want to do the rules or follow the rules because of everything that we're providing for you. Not just because you feel like you want to do what you want to do. Because what happens if you want to do what you want to do, that only happens after you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And me and Shane was having a conversation with the intern, and it was driving us kind of mad. And it was driving us mad, but Shane got good patience. But Shane, I think Shane, very rarely do you hear him raise his voice. He still didn't raise his voice, but what he will do that. The hand, and so when he was talking with old boy, because the young dude's 24 or 23, and so his going through the same exact thing, thinking that he know everything, thinking that okay, well, y'all don't understand us and we don't understand y'all, and so Shane was basically saying the same exact thing. Rules are in place for a reason.
Yeah.
They're in place to develop.
Understand why small things like the small a piece of the thing is like I be wanting to slap the hell out of the young dudes that call their girlfriends bro.
Man.
And he was like, well, see, what we figured out is that it's not that big of a deal. I said, well, really, y'all haven't figured nothing out. I said, because a dude that call his woman bruh, he doesn't have respect for her.
Yeah.
They gonna end up in this real, because young folks, you say under 25, they be in these real toxic relationships, and you're like, how you so young in these toxic relationships? And like I told him, because you let those small things go by. So you think it's something easy as just calling your lady bruh because that's what you feel like doing. I said, a man that wants to actually commit to a woman, he's gonna I don't want to say conform, but he's going to level up to whatever her standards are. So it's a reason why growing up, my father is yes ma'am,
Yes.
yes sir.
Yes.
So what happens is certain boundaries are set up. So when I go out in the real world, I'm respecting my elders. I'm moving a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And not just when I enter a room, hey, so bruh, you know,
self-awareness.
Right. And not realizing that I'm already losing respect in the room because nobody made me adjust myself.
Right.
I was allowed to, it's just like when I go and DJ I don't do no more Sweet 16s. I gotta really know you. You know what I'm saying? I very rarely do graduation parties unless I really know you, because just some of the stuff that you see. Like I'm 42. I don't curse around my mother. I don't curse around my father. Even if they curse, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because I got that respect level. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is raised different. There's no injustice. You do whatever works for you. But I hold my son to that same standard. So when he turned 18, I don't care if he listen to curse music, which he's going to outside of the house. But when you around me, you're going to respect this environment. I've sat there and I'm DJing, I'm playing the most raunchiest stuff, and there's elders around and all that kind of stuff. But the mother of whoever it is, oh, this is what they like she's not realizing what she's setting that young man up for or that young lady for.
Right.
You let them think just because this is what everybody doing, it's okay. So then when they go into a professional environment, they mad that they gotta talk professional or they gotta move this way. If you can't adjust, the world is gonna adjust you.
It's gonna adjust you.
It will change you.
Yeah,
and let's not even talk about on a professional standpoint. Let's just talk about just being out there in the world. You see, you ever saw any of these videos just in school where the teacher that went off on a young dude and started whooping his ass? There was nobody at home to check him and say, look, this is the result when you don't respect grown men.
Yeah.
You know, when you don't talk to grown men and certain, there's a
We
reason
call
why.
him a teacher, bruh.
There's a reason why even on reality TV, why you don't see grown men getting into it like that. You might see some women throwing cups and shit and all, but you don't see grown men because when we do shit, shit breaks. People hurt. People die. You know, and so I think that's also a starting point. Like, learn to respect yourself and others because, like you said, the world will change you. You end up in a world of hurt. Bring that shit home first so we can train you, and then you'll go out into the world so you can survive, yo.
That's it. You gonna meet a situation that's gonna test you.
Man.
And you ain't ready for that test, man. It's crazy because we was having this while we having a conversation, right? And Breeze got her things that she, combating with and things like that. And I said, think about this, Bree. You think everything that I've been teaching y'all in school that you can't apply it now? I said, what was one of my rules when y'all was in school? Do what you gotta do so you can do what you want to do. Yeah. Right now as an adult, what you gotta do? Your car, your this, your that. If you do that and you take care of that, at that point you can do what you want to do. Florida and everywhere else, you can do whatever you want to do if those things are taken care of. Right or wrong?
Now you're gonna have to take it. That shit gonna bite you on the back end.
It's gonna bite you on the back end. I said, what's the rule in terms of y'all going to bed and all that? Like we got the bedtime and all that, but what's the rule? She's like, if I decide to go to bed late, I still need to be able to get up and do my job and go to school. I said, all right then. So still applies, right or wrong?
That's right.
She was like, right. I said, now when you don't get enough sleep and you do that, right, and you still get up and you make it to work and everything. How does that pay for you on the back end? I said it to her just like that. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I said exactly. So yes, you were able to. Yeah, you were supposed to get up and be at work at 6, but you stayed up until 3 in the morning, and you did get up and you actually made it to work. But then how was the rest of your day? You weren't functioning the way that you normally function with the kids. You tired. You cranky. All right then. It's ways to this. So why I'm telling y'all, it's simple things that I said to y'all, but I'm telling you. It's real, and in the end, if you whatever way you choose, the choice is yours. Whatever way you choose, you'll see the way it's going. It's either gonna bite you or it ain't.
Shout out to our brother Rashad King, who's been on the show a number of times.
Yes, indeed.
So I do a little counseling session with him from time to time, and yesterday's counseling session was based off balance, all balance. Put balance into your life. I'm talking to him about everything I have going on and things of that nature. And I have my hands in certain kind of pots. But he's saying, look, make sure that the balance is there. It's elementary. The same thing that we got to teach our children, balance. Yeah, in order for you to do things at a high level tomorrow, you must get your rest tonight. You know, there must be a balance. Now, you can't go shit off all your money and then expect you to pay your car note or your your insurance. Balance. So I think that's what I'm getting out of this conversation. You know,
that's exactly what it is. And this is a give and take. They learn it. She figuring it out. We figuring it out. But we learning it as we go. And I think that we've come to some good grounds, and we've been able to work some stuff out, and this stuff we'll be able to use with the other ones as they growing up and they see. You know what I'm saying? And it's just. Boy, that is getting there, and the understanding piece, and the having that balance. Like you say, the way these kids, the way they think, you like.
Because you're not just battling their thoughts, you battling social media, you battling the world.
Everything, how they think of what it should be or whatever. Like it's not like that.
That's why niggas think they got it all figured out.
Yeah, it ain't what you think. Trust me, it ain't what you think. It ain't gonna work the way that you want it to work. Like. We even say to like, where did you develop this sense of entitlement? Just watching me and your mother, Joe. Like, you've seen us at the bottom struggling, Joe. Like, you know what I'm saying? What made you think that you're supposed to just have stuff? Like, what made you think that when seeing the way that just I work, what makes you think that you're just supposed to just have stuff and stuff's supposed to come to you? You know what I'm saying?
Without you
doing nothing for it. I said, she learned a real lesson with that car.
But I'm gonna tell you though, Slim. I mean, in this day and age, I posted something. I can't remember who I got it from, but it was a shout out from Plies. Plies was saying to all the ladies out there doing it the right way. Because I'm pretty sure she has a ton of girlfriends, and all their girlfriends are going about it in different ways. And she may got one out there that's getting it by way of Slick Dick Willie. You know what I'm saying? Or bouncing that thing in the club or whatever the case, and not really having to put the hard work and balance into providing for herself. You know what I'm saying? Where she's doing that, the school, the work, and she's doing it the right way. She's a good girl, bro. Y'all doing a good job. It's just that's the stage.
That's where we at.
That's stage. I want to transition because I really want y'all's opinion. And speaking about balance, I see an imbalance in the way that. And I just want y'all opinion because I could be totally wrong about this. I stopped watching the NFL a while ago. Yeah. I stopped watching the NFL due to, especially when they changed their whole tune on after the George Floyd thing that happened, right? And I'm gonna make it quick. But I see the way that society has been talking about in the media about Kyrie Irving and the treatment that they gave him versus Aaron Rodgers, right? And to me, I see it's an imbalance, and there are two different leagues, and you got and you host a sports show. So I really want your opinion when it comes to the imbalance that I see. I don't see as much of a backlash, as far as what society is giving Aaron Rodgers and even major media versus what they gave Kyrie Irving.
Oh yeah. One, I think you know, as black people, we're the biggest
critics of ourselves.
Yeah, we'll beat each other up before we beat somebody else up that don't look like us. It's definitely, well, one, I think it's two different scenarios. You know what I'm saying? The thing with Kyrie, one was sometimes it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. You know what I'm saying? And then Kyrie's history, you know what I'm saying? You know, two totally different things. Now with the Aaron Rodgers thing, you really got to see, you know, white privilege and entitlement. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then also with the people that have been critical of him, sometimes black folks, it's never enough for us. But you want us to shoot Aaron Rodgers? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Stephen A., he went on him. He called him a liar. You know, but of course with black people, he need to do more. What you want him to do? Kill Aaron Rodgers? Would that be enough for you all then? You know what I'm saying? And it was funny how the other white sports announcers defended Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? To Stephen A. Smith. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of them things to where it's definitely accountability. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, Aaron Rodgers, you know, granted they didn't suspend him, but, you know, they hit his pockets, which, you know.
Because he just got fined the other day, right?
Yeah, he got fined, the team got fined, which that was they supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? When the reporter asked you, did you get the vaccine? He said, once you say yes, you're answering yes to a question. He said, yes, I'm immunized. Well, one is, we don't even have you can't be immunized on COVID yet because we haven't even got to that stage. That's why we have a vaccine. You know what I'm saying? An immunization is something totally different. That means you won't even get whatever. That's why certain diseases you can be immunized for certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was worse because you lied. You know what I'm saying? You lied towards whatever the protocol was, and you putting everybody else in danger. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie just made it worse. You know, some people, the more you talk, the more they sound, you know what I'm saying? He just one of them people, he don't really need a mic in front of him. You know, and then before you make a decision, you got to kind of figure the whole situation out. And you can tell with Kyrie, he was figuring out as he was going along. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's a choice. If you want to get the vaccine, get it. If you don't, you don't. Whatever the jobs have behind it that you got to go through, that's just whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? I know, like, with certain jobs, if you don't want to get the vaccine, you just got to take tests. So, you know, it is what it is. So, and it's no way around it. It is what it is. So, but once you go to the point of the deception, that's when the issue is. Because then you talk about integrity, which you open up a whole stream of, because if you don't hold Aaron Rodgers accountable, what you thinking that every Joe Blow who don't get the vaccine, but forging a vaccine card, or you just open up a whole different can of worms. So I think the NFL, they did what they're supposed to. They find him and the organization, because then you got to hold the organization accountable too, with making sure the integrity of the records is there as well.
That's what they won't do it again. We ain't gonna lose no money like this.
Yeah.
Not like this. Ooh, like fines from players, little stuff they do on the field. We ready for that. On the court, we ready for that. But stuff like this is something we got a fine because of what you decided to do, and you wasn't thinking about the organization at that point. Nah, this won't happen again.
So I mean, I understand that. But I also understand we're talking about life, and is a person's choice and is their body, and I do respect that part of what he said. And Kyrie said he sounded like, to me, he said the exact same thing that Kyrie said. Just it was just different. What are we talking about? We're talking about life. We're not talking about playing the game here. I just did not see it, and I'm one of those folks. I'm one of those folks where I felt like there must be a balance. You don't crucify that young man because sports are sports. I mean, the organizations are different. The NFL is different than the NBA. The NFL is probably the most lucrative organization in the world for our sports. So, I just didn't see a balance in the treatment, especially amongst the media, when it came to both players. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and granted, Kyrie might have been the catalyst for it. He was the Christ of it. He was the very first one.
Because I think the NBA is like 96% vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? So there are other players who aren't vaccinated. It's just the thing that he plays in New York, which has one of the strictest. You know what I'm saying? So if
damn, so that's all the grounds for them to crucify his ass for real.
Well, then also unvaccinated. We're not going to absolve Kyrie either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The way Kyrie moves doesn't make it easy for himself. Yeah. And that's what a lot of times, it's just like, Kyrie wants to be a martyr, but the way that you move is also going to affect that as well. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I feel like in the way that he's been moving, and the way that he is moving, I feel like you can't, speaking of balance, you can't do both. You can't be in these big organizations and then you have the values and morals that you do. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be
granted.
It's a conflict of interest.
It go all the way back to when we was just talking about being Christ-like, bro. Like Christ was crucified and shunned on because of the beliefs, because of the way he moved. You're gonna have to. You want to do this, you're gonna have to give up something.
You're gonna have to give up something.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? And he's made enough. He's made enough, in the league to be able to step away and actually fight for what he believes in. Kaepernick, same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't.
He had a whole show on that.
Right. You can't be a part of these big organizations and then try to fight for for a cause like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to have it's going to be a conflict of interest. So you got to expect to get crucified. You got to expect to get crucified. Yeah. You got to expect that. So.
And then you gotta
especially being a black man.
You gotta be a leader. You know what I'm saying? You can't want to do these things and not be a leader. You know what I'm saying? The thing about Kyrie is like, in all of the situations where he was supposed to lead, he hasn't. So it's like you can't. And then you gotta understand what it means to be a leader. It's just like, other than Kyrie really doesn't have a plan. You know what I'm saying? And then, if you're gonna do these things socially, what are you actually doing? You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna speak out about certain things, you gotta actually do those things. You can't just jump on social media and say, well, I'm against this or against that. But if you're not actually, because then at that point you have people behind you, and then there's actually proof in the pudding. You know what I'm saying? You can't say, well, I'm against eating oranges. Well, what you doing in the community? You know what I'm saying? You can't just be and you can't just be on a social media advocate but in real life, what are you doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't. Because at that point, what are you sacrificing?
Right. So he's definitely done a lot. I don't have the list, but they did post it on ESPN to like all the shit that he's given back and done for the community. So I mean, he's definitely a leader in that standpoint. But of course, his past precedes him. But that's shit that we just talked about. We hold people to a standard. Even people have they should be allowed to grow and change. Yeah, he might not be an excellent leader on the court, but when it comes to a stance like this, what he's actually doing is very American.
Yeah, it is.
It's at its foundation, it's American to say, look, I have a right to this, I have a right to that. Why? Because the Constitution says so. You know. But yet now, all of a sudden, I don't. Maybe because it's a health crisis. You know, and I'm just speculating. You know, I'm just trying to give another perspective. I just wanted to hear what you guys had to say about that, man. I appreciate that. Y'all now listening to the Root Cause Podcast, where we like to have the hard conversations, man. Today we talked a little bit about Christ, a little bit about our children and growth and parenting, and then we hit. Of course, we're gonna always hit the not always, but the Cracksination. We got 716 vodka. That's your favorite?
It's not my favorite, but it's up there. It's on my new to go to 716 vodka. Our sponsors, baby. You gotta love it. The DMV's own good vodka is really good. You can take shots of it, or you can mix it with your drink. You know what I'm saying? And it's real smooth. It's real good. You want to check it out? Go to 716vodka.com. Spell out the word 7. The number 16vodka.com. You can see how you can get it. You can see in the DMV area where they're selling it at now. I believe it's 5 locations, maybe 6, and we're in a couple of restaurants around the way. So go check that out. Get you a bottle of it. It's some good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they can make me some of that when I get home.
There we go. And shout out to the Underground Lab. We don't have mics in front of us today because we using a boom.
We growing out here. We growing out here.
We
growing out
You
here.
see this gut.
We growing out here.
And I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah. Like we growing out here. Things is happening, so it's good stuff. Good shit. Hey, fellas, what's up? So if y'all don't know, we gonna tell y'all again, just to reminder, man. We've switched to every bi-weekly for the episodes. This month will be us trying it out, so you'll get the next episode in 2 weeks. This replay, when our replay is all day on Sunday, how do I replay the replay?
It comes on, of course, next Sunday.
Right.
Sunday after that, they'll get a fresh one.
Okay, all right. So we got the replay running on Sundays. Tuesday the episode will be out. The YouTube is up. Then December we take a break.
There we go.
We take our break. We'll take a break for the whole month. And then we come back January, starting back on this schedule. We're gonna do this for a season, see how the numbers look. And then we gonna keep that going. So y'all just be on the lookout for that, and understand that y'all not missing anything. If y'all don't see us 1 week, it's just this what the new schedule is. All right. So that being said, we out of here. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Like, love, subscribe, share. Tell the people about us. And go on the podcast app and comment and rate, please. Thank you. We out of here. Mics down.